It is today, March. It's March 24th. It is the day before we get our little check, so it's Monday. We're looking forward to getting our little check, but you know, we haven't done too badly. We actually ended up, yesterday or the day before, we had $40 left. It was of cash. So that was a good thing. Today we went and got a couple of loaves of bread. Well, one. I think we got one loaf of bread because Gary couldn't find any that was 50% off. That's okay. I mean, you know. So we got one loaf of bread, and then he found a couple of other things that were like little treats. One was, he thought they were cookies, but they were called oat bites. Yeah, so they were tiny little, like muffins, flat muffins, with oats and chocolate chips in them. And there was two little ones, little like that big around, in a little package, packages that big. So they were kind of good. You know, they tasted yummy. And then the other was baby muffins, because he couldn't get full size ones. So the baby like blueberry muffins. So they'll be nice for breakfast. So we had to have some. You know, we had to try the muffins and try the little oat bites. We had oat bites for dessert for supper, one each, you know, kind of, or one package each. And supper was tomato soup, which was delicious, and a grilled cheese sandwich. So it was good. It was good, and even Gray likes the tomato soup with we just put bread in it, and then you know, it's good healthy food for her too. So yeah, so tomorrow we get our little check. We're going to stay here though because we've got internet here, and pardon me. When we get our big check, we need to be able to pay our bills and do all the things online. And we haven't quite sorted our own internet yet. Tried it out and seen if it works and all that stuff. So it's been a little too cold to just set it out. And this evening, actually, it got really windy. Like it was rocking the motorhome back and forth quite hard. And at some points I said, "Are we going to fall over?" But Gary says no. He reassured me that no, we're not going to fall over. It's coming from the front, but every now and then there's a gust that comes from the side. So, oh, pardon me. Sorry. It's getting on dusk, and I don't sleep well when it's cold. I sleep, but I don't sleep well. So it's actually been warmer today. I'm only in my coat and my jean jacket, of course. But I've only got that on. I don't have to have a shawl. I do have the blanket over my knees, just to keep my knees warm because otherwise they really ache. Yeah, part being old. And what else did we do? Oh yeah, we took a bunch of boxes. We had a couple of plastic, like I've got some plastic drawer types of roller carts that I bought when we were in at the flea market. Well, I actually got them free, and we had to leave some of the drawers behind. But the roller carts would have the small drawers, and then they have a couple of big ones on the bottom. And I wanted those, so we brought those along. And Gary had them underneath, and there's two of them. And he had one underneath, and he had to split it to put it underneath. So it took up a whole section underneath, which ended up taking up a lot of space where boxes could actually go. So today he brought that inside because it's a lot lighter than to move around than moving around the boxes. And we can take them and set them up here at night and put them in the bedroom in the daytime, and they're not in the way. And he took a bunch of boxes, I don't know how many boxes, 6 or 8 boxes out of here, and got them all underneath. So it's made it a lot less ugly in here. It's a lot less chaotic with having the boxes out of here, you know. And the other things are in the bedroom during the day, so you don't really see them. They just sit on on sort of my side of the bed next to the window, and they're fine there. I don't generally go and have a nap when it's cold. I lay down too long at night because we go to bed fairly early now. Just because it's cold and we can't have the lights on for too long in the evening. So I tend to go to bed early. So Gary usually goes 8:30 or so, and I usually try and stay up until about 10. But a lot of nights I'm going to bed at 9:30 because it's just cold. It feels like tonight could get cold again just because of the darn wind. And this was, one of the things that irritated us about Lethbridge was the constant wind. And it seems to be something that's here that we didn't know about. We did not know that there was this, like wind, especially in the spring. We didn't seem to see it as much in the wintertime. But since spring hit, we've seen a lot of really strong winds. So when we're traveling, we're going to have to be kind of aware of that, what the winds are going to be like, because we don't want to be on the road in this thing, in a high wind. We would fall off the road. Anyway, yeah, so that was about today. I think that's about all we did. So it looks a little bit better in here, a little cleaner in here. Well, not really cleaner, but a little less chaotic, like I said. And we put boxes, and I said, don't worry about where they are. We don't need to sort them at this point. Once we get into more warmer weather, then I want to go outside with Gary, and then we will sort the bins outside and get things shifted around so that we have access to things when the time comes, so that wherever Gary's needs for his 3D printer, wherever his things are for that, they're available. They're close. Me, for my papers and my different things, they're close. So that they're all sort of in one thing, and then the other stuff can be in the other bins. So we'll be shifting things around a little bit, going, I don't know, like wherever we can and feel comfortable doing it. I don't want to be doing it in like a Walmart parking lot. But we might find a truck stop with a fairly big area, and we can park at the back and be able to do it in some place like that. So that's kind of what we're going to be looking for, is something like that. But the weather needs to be warmer. I can't be out in this kind of wind. I wouldn't be able to breathe. At least not properly. I have a hard enough time because I had to help Gary today move boxes and stuff, because climbing in and out to move the boxes is really hard on him. His knees are really, 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 really in sad shape since the cold, and with the cold and the constantly having to go in and out, and earlier when the step wasn't fixed, having to climb that big step and all of that stuff. So we've had to kind of adjust, and it's been good. It's good. I'm just looking at the dog. She keeps going over to lay by the door. She's funny. Sometimes she wants to go in and out of the house. I'm sure if you've got a dog, you know what I mean. Like, some days a dog will do that. They just want to keep going outside and then coming back in, and going outside and coming back in. And she's been doing that the last couple of days, been wanting to go outside for a little bit, but not doing anything, not doing any business. She's just going out there to go outside, and then getting back in the house, and then she wants to go out a few minutes later. And it's not because she has to go potty, it's just because she wants to go outside. And I think it's kind of a spring thing with dogs. She's not in heat or anything. It's just, I think it's just a thing that they go through. She never wanted to go outside in the winter time. She would put off going to the bathroom in the winter time. But it's spring now, and now she wants to kind of go out, and she looks at the grass, and she wants to go and sniff and see who's been in the grass, and all of that kind of stuff. And we have to be careful when she's going into the grass and she's sniffing, because they can get diseases from other dogs' urine and poop and things like that. So you really have to kind of be careful. And as we're traveling, we're always careful when we're traveling with any dog. We've traveled with dogs before, and we do the same thing with her. But just be careful where you're putting them out, how long the grass is, are there trees and bushes, that kind of thing. Keep them away from bushes. Try and keep them out along grass, because that's where ticks and fleas and things like that hang out. And then you've got a problem with your dog if you haven't paid attention. So it is a really good thing to do, is just pay attention to where your dog is going when you've got them out, and make sure that they're okay and not going to get something. But yeah, so she's actually quite happy. She was a little upset today because we were moving stuff around. Like most dogs, she doesn't like moving things around. She doesn't like change that much. So I keep having to wipe my lips, but they're dry, and then I lick them, and then they get wet. It's an old lady thing, I think. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so that's about all there was today, I think, that we did. And going to the store was kind of nice. Even that short little distance, it's not that far. It's maybe 1.5 kilometers. It's not that far. But even that short distance helps with the blowing out of the gas system on the motorhome, to help get rid of some of the carbon and things that builds up. Gary's been working on a new style of, it's not an HO generator like a hydrogen generator. It is something else that he's working on to try and save us money on fuel. When he gets to a point where he actually can print one, and then we can test it and see how it does. He can do a video and show you, what it is and how he's done it and all the rest of it. And I mean, if it works for us, it'll work for other people. And I don't know, but I think this one could probably work on new vehicles. I haven't confirmed that with Gary, but I think it probably could, where the HO generators can't. The new vehicles are different. The way that they inject the fuel in, they don't have a carburetor, so it's difficult to set it up, because the HO generators normally are going in through the carburetor. That's how they can clean the whole engine, is they're going in through sort of the beginning of everything, and then they go through the system. And they can clean everything up and make it really nice. This isn't going to do that, I don't think. I don't think that's the purpose, but it might help us save a little bit. It won't be as good as an HO generator would, but I think it would help, and any little bit will help on this thing. So if we can save a few bucks on fuel, it just means we can go further on the fuel that we get. And that's a good thing, because it means that we'll get back to Alberta sooner. And the sooner we get back there, the sooner we can start setting up for doing sales and doing things, and actually start looking at, where can we be, and what can we do, and how do we make money, and that sort of thing. Being out here, it's impossible for us to look into it, other than to look online and say, oh, that's there. But actually to set anything up, we really can't do it, because we don't know when we're going to get there. And we might not get there until mid-April, or mid-May. And it just will depend on how we do monetarily. And so we've got things that we've got money coming in, but we've also got payments going out and all this stuff. So, and this month we've got an extra almost $500 that we have to pay to finish paying for the step, and then that'll be done, and then we can, look at next month. We'll have a full amount, but that's not till the end of April. So, how far we're going to get, I don't know. It'd be really nice if we could get halfway, but I don't know if we will. We're going to have about $800 extra. It's not really extra, but it's going to be about $800 in our checks to start off with, and then we've got a couple of smaller checks that'll be coming in during April that we'll be able to use. And if you watched our old videos, our old traveling here videos, you'll see kind of what we had to do. We had to stop, find a place to stay there for a couple of weeks or longer, and just sometimes move around and things like that. We're going the other way. I don't know where we're going to have to stay our first stint and things like that. And we're staying, it's cold. It's still cold. So we're going to see if we can get the furnace fixed before we go too far. If not, we're just going to have to bear the cold and until we can, until it stops, basically, until the cold stops. So that's about it for today. So like I said, it's March the 24th. Tomorrow we get our little check. So we'll be getting a few groceries in. Not doing too much, but getting a few groceries in, and then sitting here for a couple more days until our bigger check comes in. And then once that does, then I have to finish the taxes and get them in, and I do it online, so it goes in right away. And then I have to get the we have to pay our bills, and then we'll be leaving. And I will probably leave maybe the 28th or 29th, depending on how things go with the internet here and everything. Gary still has to get on to the Canada Revenue Income Tax site into his account to get a number for me. There's one number I'm missing, but he has to go into his account to get it. He's been trying for the last couple of days. It's really, really busy, and he may have to be, get up about midnight and try and log in and all that and see if we can get it in. It's going to be tricky. He's going to need his full power on his computer if he's going to try doing that. And he's got the older computer, so it's a lot slower. And I feel like I've got a hair on my face, sorry. But it's a lot slower and trickier to get online and things like that. So, he's got a couple of more days, and it might take an extra day before we get that number. And it's a single number. I've got everything else in place with that one number, and I don't want to send it in without it, because then it slows everything down for doing anything, because that number is missing. And I don't want it slowed down. I want it going in. Yes, we're done. We've got our assessment, all the rest of it. And then we know that, because there's money that comes in April, that if we don't get it sent in by, I think it's April 2nd, if we don't get the taxes in by then, and assessed, that we won't get that money until way later in the year. And we need it while we're traveling. So, and it's a sizable amount. It's somewhere around $350. So that's enough for 3/4 of a tank of fuel. So we're looking at, we really need that to be able to get us at least another few hundred miles of kilometers until, and then when we get our money at the end of April, then we can get right into Alberta and figure out where we're going from there. And that's about all I think that I have to say tonight. Yeah, it was nice today. It was sunny for a good deal of the day, off and on. There was some cloud. We woke up this morning and there was snow on the ground. It was just like a light skiff of snow. And then it rained. And that was still early this morning. And then the sun kind of came out between clouds. And then in the afternoon it got really kind of nice. And it was actually warm enough for Gary to be able to go out and do this work outside. And then it started getting really windy. And so I'm glad we got the work done today, because now it's cloudy. And tomorrow is apparently supposed to be rain and possible flurries. And only about 2 degrees. So tomorrow will be a cold day again for us. We'll probably be wrapped in blankets all day. But you know, we're survivors, and we're resilient, and we keep our positivity as much as we can. We keep our faith that things will turn out. We just have to go through some stuff, and so that's about it. So if you've managed to get through this 20 minutes, then please, if you haven't already subscribed, do so. Leave us a little comment, even if it's just a little heart. If you don't know how to do hearts if you've got a computer that's on a PC, if you hit the Alt key and the 3 on your number pad, it makes a little heart. It's really actually quite cute. So if you just leave us a heart, or a smiley, or anything like that, that just says you were there, and give us a like, or if you don't like what I'm doing, put a thumbs down. I don't know. It's neither here nor there. If you give us a thumbs down, and I'd appreciate it if you told me why. But if you're just maybe one of those people that just likes to thumbs down everybody, well, that's not my problem. So so I'm gonna stop now. I'm just kind of blathering now, and I can upload this tomorrow and get it uploaded for you. Right now I'm offline. That's why I did the video, because I'm just kind of offline right now, so can't get on. But I'll put it on tomorrow if I can get online sometime tomorrow. Sometimes we can, other times we can't, but I'll try. And I'll put this up so that you've got, this is what we're doing today. So take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you next time.